recollect, remember. And all three of those words means to unite. Recollect, remind, remember. If I do that acknowledgement, then I can realize that, you know what? I am just asking for crumbs. Remind myself every day, I can't even fathom how big I can ask, how big I can be, and the light that comes through and the power that comes through me. So I'm completely inspired by shifting the paradigm and perspective that I have on the unfathomable size, scope, and scale of possibilities, probabilities, and our reality.
Yeah, love all this. And so many people aren't intentional enough, and they wonder why, they're not hitting their goals, so to speak. And I know there's an old saying, and it's a little cliche, but I want to bring it up. Like a sailor with a ship, right? If he leaves the docks and there's no destination, he's just going to go around and around and around. But when you have a destination, the universe starts to align in your favor to get you closer to those targets, so to speak.
Well, there's a mathematical equation that is that, and I call it the mathematical equation of luck. What you pay attention to and what you give intention to. So attention is what you're focused in on, using your what, your who, your how, your now. Then when you apply your why, your intention, when you apply your why to your attention, what you think, say, do, believe, and the unconscious competencies that you have created by your personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions, when you take attention, add it to intention, it equals the coincidences in your life. People say you're lucky.
You're on fire today, buddy. All right, I got another one for you. This is a big one. I have a little bit of adversity in my life right now. As Monday, I'm going under the knife, getting a little surgery. Kind of shook me out a little bit because I wasn't expecting it. But I'm at a place in my life now where I know every situation like that has a productive, positive side to it. I may not know exactly what it is today, but that's how I'm going into it. How do you personally deal with adversity today, Dave?
So adversity, pain, setbacks, failures, things that I don't expect, I consider to be propellers, meaning they propel me to something better. Not punishment. It's not a stop sign. It's simply a turn signal to something better. So if I have a tumor in my foot, as you have, I've taken a grateful perspective that thank goodness I strained my ligament playing football with Dave Meltzer on the beach, because it raised the awareness to a tumor that now will humble me that I may be overdoing it or focusing on the wrong things in order to get what I want. And so this pain is going to propel me to something bigger, better, and to a better situation. This short-term setback, mistake, or failure is going to propel me to something better.
That's exactly my thought process. It's a blessing in disguise, and I love that you brought that up. We couldn't be more aligned if we tried. Should we get Mickey on here?
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Oh, Mickey, let's go.
Let's get her. CLS Experience, drop that number. Okay.
There she is. IG's a little slow today, so thank you for your patience, everyone, as we're trying to allow Mickey to come on. I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, and we just want to thank the audience. This show is growing rapidly, all because of you guys. We love you. We're so grateful. And keep dropping questions in that we want to engage with you guys.
Hey, Jakey Bakey's up, too. I want to give a big shout-out to the Bake Man. I am coming to New York to see you, Craig, to make sure that that surgery went okay. So a week from today, I will be in New York City. I'm going to do a meetup in New York City for all those people in New York City. We will be meeting up with you as well. So I am looking forward to seeing the city again. It's been way too long. I will be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in the Big Apple.
That's the best news ever. Yeah.
And before I see you, I'm going to be keynoting an event with Mike Tyson and the OP, the Optimum universe there, and in Chicago on Saturday. I'll be the opening keynote, and Mike Tyson will be closing for me. A pretty good closer, by the way. So I'm going to be interested in how his perspective has changed. He's a spiritual starfish himself and an incredible human being. Really looking forward to talking and sharing a stage with Mike Tyson.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Iron Mike
Tyson, OSP Chicago.
Unbelievable.
Right. With Amir, who's the ex undefeated heavyweight champion of kickboxing as well. So I got to be on guard because I called out Mike Tyson for a pay-per-view, Dave Meltzer versus Mike Tyson. I'm looking for a payday. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be a big payday. And I'm willing to take one punch and fall. It'll be a big one. So everyone, the next big Comcast Spectrum pay-per-view fight, Dave Meltzer versus Mike Tyson. I'm calling you out, Mike. Be careful. There's a lot of thrills here. I'm coming at you, buddy.
There 100% is. That guy taking a punch from him, that's confidence. I no other way to describe that.
Is it worth $100 million to take a punch from Mike Tyson? That's what I told myself.
Jakey, text Mickey.
Yeah, Jakey, what's going on? All right, ask me a question while we wait for Mickey.
Yeah, so in regards to right now, there's a stigma about certain things that people have dealt with. Specifically, like, I was going to talk to Mickey about this because I have on the podcast when she was dealing with abuse earlier on in life. Took her a couple decades to talk out about it, and then obviously it was so liberating for her. How important is it to reach out and ask for support with situations that may have really hurt us in the past, so to speak, and not just keep them all bundled up inside?
Well, I'll tell you, I thought, that therapy was not for me. In experiencing my own abuse as a child and my own setbacks as a young boy, never thought it affected me. I thought, utilizing gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration that I could heal and learn. But I am now utilizing a therapist myself to heal, different philosophies and understand from a professional, things like learned hopelessness and taught hopelessness and how the ego intertwines and what has happened, as our childhood experiences. Most everyone has, had some either emotional, financial, physical, sexual abuse in their childhood, and it affects you. And I highly encourage anyone to reach out to have coaching, mentoring, therapy, whatever it may take. But my biggest thing, and Craig, you have to be careful of this too, is you start helping a lot of people as a mentor, a coach, as a teacher. You don't know it all, right? We are all flawed human beings. We're all on the journey to pursue our own potential, and we are, still healing. And it only helps us to, at all times, have that type of mentorship, have that type of coaching. So I encourage everyone, and even looking at Simone, in the Olympics here, I just feel for her. I can't imagine, that's not an entitled little girl. You know what I mean? This is a completely empowered individual that is under an extraordinary amount of pressure. And we need to make sure that everyone deserves the right to be mentally fit, not just physically, which she is extremely physically. Oh, there she is, Mickey James, extremely fit. All righty, you got her there. Let's grab it.
And just to pick up on what you said, Dave, people have to be in shape, not just physical, mental shape. It's a great point that you make. Mickey, we're going to get you right on now.
Awesome.
She's coming in hot. I know it.
There it is. Oh my God. You guys.
Hey, she is.
Hi. Hello. Good
Long
morning.
time no see.
Wow. Well, I just woke up. I was like, oh God. I was in, and I couldn't post the picture. I was doing a concert with Chapel Hart last night. Well, I drove down to
Lusa.
Wait, you
no,
just
not
like that?
Tuscaloosa, David. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No. Tuscumbia is the name of the town.
Tuscumbia, where the Scumbias live.
Yes, where all the Tuscumbians live. I'm trying to find a good angle here.
Wait,
I drove down there and I got
when
home
you
at
wake up.
You're so sweet.
Mickey, do you have a pool? Do you have a pool there that you can just leave us and jump into like Clinton did?
I hope so. Yes, I do have a pool. Actually, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the middle of the show, he's like, "Hold on a second," and he just took off and he jumped in the pool.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
For the audience,
Yes.
audience that lives under rock and might not know Mickey, which is extremely rare, let me give you the introduction you deserve. Mickey James, country singer, iconic wrestler, one of my favorite WWE legends of all time, just an overall juggernaut in all facets of life, a terrific mother, a terrific human being.
Oh.
Couldn't be more excited to have you on today, the iconic Mickie James.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you. Here I am.
I gotta add one thing because I'm a huge fan as well and been blessed to have talked to you before. But I want to add one adjective that's super important to me is she's one of the kindest people, which isn't always said about the celebrities in the world. And, you know, and I think that transcends from your immediate relationships that you have to the community and the fans that you have inspired throughout the years. So if anyone wants to really know Mickie, she's super kind. And that's what means the most to me. You're a wonderful person.
That means a lot to me too. Thank you. Thank you. I try. The struggle is real sometimes, so, you know.
Always.
We love you, Mickie. I'm going to dive right in. You recently made an epic return at Slammiversary, but I have a question for you. How did it feel to come out to some hardcore country?
So good. So good. That song, I forgot how good that song was to come out to, because no offense, but my WWE music, it was cute, but that's what it was. It was cute. It was just kind of, there was no song, like music to it. There was no, aside from just like the melody, there was no energy. It was just like dun, 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 dun. But hardcore country like punches you in the mouth when you walk out. Like it's just, you know exactly who it is when they're coming out before the music even kicks in. So it's a pretty powerful anthem. And I just forgot how sassy it made me feel, like coming out to it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a badass song.
You.
Huh?
There's no one more sassy than you.
I like to say I put the ass in sass in class all the time.
Well, you know, I call that music a chin check in your business, right? It's a great chin check when you're coming out. It's like, all right, time to go. And everybody's that's watching, it's a huge chin check that, all right, the fight's on. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, chin check. I like that. Someone said that, you know, having a conversation, he'll get you with a good chin wag, which means that he'll talk you. Yeah. I've never heard that before. It blew my mind. I said, chin wag. That's a great.
Yeah, I just heard that chin check. I'm like, I'm stealing that chin check. I like it, man. Yeah. When I speak, I come out like with a happy song or the Dirty Heads, you know, occupation. I love vacation occupation song, whatever that's called. Those are good chin check speaking songs. But when you're coming out for a slam fest, I think your hardcore country music, great chin check.
I love it. Thank you. A good chin check.
Dave, I want to dive in and answer, but I have to ask Mickie real quick. I saw an unbelievable update. At a whopping 5'3", you're going to be at the runway at the Hamptons Fashion Week.
I can't believe it. It feels really cool. I mean, here I am. I just never thought that my little legs would just kind of be down any runway ever. Because you see these ladies, they're gorgeous, but they're like 6 foot tall and they're all legs. And I was not blessed with all legs. I've got legs, but they're just kind of.
I got legs.
I got legs.
I'm blessed. I got legs too. Well, I just want to say that thank you so much for opening the door for Craig and I, because, you know, just like Warren Moon opened the door for black quarterbacks, you have now opened the door for Craig and I to be extraordinary models. And, you know, because my legs are like this big. They're perfect to fly on an airplane with.
That's what I say. I'm perfect because I can get my knees in the seat on the airplanes and I can get into a little ball. People can't get to me. It's amazing.
I love it. Dave,
Say again?
You want to dive in?
I've already been diving in, but of course, so Mickie, transition is a really big deal, especially during COVID right now. And I do a lot of coaching with athletes, specifically entertainers in transition, but also entrepreneurs, meaning like lawyers and doctors that feel stuck because their moms, you know, made them study and go to law school or med school. And here they are 50 years old, stuck in their careers. And a lot of times I hear it's too late. And you're someone that continually to expand and grow and accelerate, utilizing all the skills you have, the knowledge of who and what, and your great desire that you just must be what you can be. What are some of the key advice that you can give to people today that are transitioning in their careers or they want more out of their life?
Wow. Well, you know, it's very interesting that you would ask me that, because that's one of the reasons, like, it's really cool when I follow you, because I am in this transitional space. I can't even speak that right now. Transitional space right now.
Jump in the pool.
I know. Somebody splashed me. to try to figure out what that is and what that looks like for me. But I think because for so long, and it really kind of set in when I first left WWE the first time, because I felt like I'd lost my dream job. And I felt like I'd lost everything. I was devastated. I was really, really devastated. But I'd started to really put some energy into my music then. But I'd never looked at my music like, okay, this was going to be like a second career. I just had done it because I wanted to do it and it was something that I'd always wanted to do. And so I just wanted to prove myself that I could do it. Now this time sitting back, like I'm 20 some years into the business, and I've been in pretty much almost every organization, every televised organization, with the exception of the new one now, AEW. But I've made so many friends and been and come and then left and then come back. And I just realized that as I've evolved, the business has evolved, but also, what I want from the business and what I need from the business has changed. Whereas before, especially like my first time there, I needed to win the championship. I needed to prove myself. I needed to prove that I was the best. I just needed all this validation, from, and most of it wasn't even, when I realized it wasn't even for myself. Like it wasn't even validation from myself. It was from my peers. It was from Vince. It was from, the audience. It was from all these things. But deep down, I wasn't truly like super, super happy with me. Like I was proud of myself for doing all these things, but at the same time, I still beat myself up a lot. And I beat myself up a lot anyway. But I think now looking at it and like trying to find this transition, I think, and that's where I wanted to talk to you, especially about it, is that leveling up transition. Because there's one thing to just transition and lateral step over into something, but how do you, because that's where I'm trying to find that balance and find it, because that's why I want to head up this, and I'm so grateful to be able to head up this females all women's pay-per-view and to really hopefully change the way business is done for women in the industry. That's my end goal. That's my hope. But as you do that, that's more of a let's level up. Like I wasn't happy just coming back and just wrestling, and because I could do that and I knew I could do that and I could wrestle everybody and have incredible matches, but it wasn't going to satisfy me on the inside. So I'm like, okay, well, what can I do to do that? And this is that level up transition, so I think it's a lot more, it hits you in the ego a little bit more when you sidestep transition or have to backward step, because we've all been there, we've all done it. But I'm really excited about trying to level up and do it. It's just delivering on it, so now I got to deliver.
You will deliver. And what's so interesting is I spent so much of my life trying to impress people, but even impress people that I didn't like.
Right.
Which is like crazy that, those are the people that I spend 80% of my time with. And part of leveling up to that transition is putting the 80% of your effort into the people that feed you. See, we're blessed to be around like super highly actualizing people. And a lot of times we're spending 80% of our time with people that are bleeding us because we're so empowered that we think somehow this heroic or puppy dog syndrome or whatever else it is that we've been blessed with, that we now have to take care of all these people that really have no interest other than self, and they're not feeding us at all. And I'm someone that gives my entire life away, but I give it away to people who feed me. If you don't feed me, I'm going to let you fall away. And if you bleed me, I'm going to fire you from my life. And I think a lot of times the more successful we are, the more difficult it is to level up because we keep feeding the people bleeding us. And if we just would shift that paradigm, no pun intended, into the people that are feeding us,
Right.
and quit trying to impress people, let alone people we don't even like or people that are bleeding us, we can accelerate and grow, compound our successes by utilizing the greatest power that we have, the one that's coming through us, to other people by giving it to other people with appreciation, meaning adding our value. But anyway, I'd love to talk to you further about that as well. But you're an incredible.
You're so
I
sweet.
stay here all day, Craigie Poo.
Yeah.
Craigie Poo.
He's the only guy that has the night. It's like here in California, it's what, almost 8 o'clock in the morning. And he has like the sweater that I wear to like the dinners that I go to, at 7 at night.
You made me start wearing these sweaters, Dave.
No, I said put on a shirt, not on a night sweater.
Mickey,
Look, I'm wearing my workout shirt.
Mickey, I was Dave in LA a week ago. He goes, Craig, this is a very pivotal moment for your brand. You're about to blow up. maybe you should consider stop wearing so many cut-off shirts and start looking more professional. So I wear a sweater. I can't win with this guy.
Where,
What
where
kind of sweater was it?
Oh,
Was it like an old school, like school sweater with the little?
get Dell to sponsor you. Get paid to wear a shirt.
Vicky, just to touch upon what you just said, it's such a different reason that you're doing it this time. The first time around might have been more for yourself, to prove to yourself, to win the championship, and so forth. Now your purpose is a little bit different. It's to give back to the whole industry. And I just want to say, I think that's super beautiful and
Oh,
100% take off.
thank you. I am trying. I'm sure it's a bit. You know, I would be lying if I said it wasn't a little bit self-driven, because I do want to prove and validate a point of, I believe women's wrestling can make money, and I was told that it doesn't, or that we didn't want to do that. And I think that an all women's product is viable, and I think it could be different, and I think there's a way to present women in the industry, and it's never been heard or seen from a women's perspective. It's only been, since wrestling's been on television, it's only been from a male's perspective, and there's never been a show for television cultivated for the female audience or anything. So there's many things, but obviously, you know, the biggest thing is to be able to let these girls know that yes, you can make money and you can be a star in the business, and it is all worth it. Because there was a lot in my career through the ups and downs where, you know, you get a little bit of success and then your knees are cut out from underneath you, and you're just constantly feeling like you're not good enough, like you're because you're keeping yourself to all these expectations and to other people's opinions of you, and you hold so much value in what everybody else thinks of you, and you have to get to that place of like, unless it's an important person, their opinion really doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, but even sometimes that important person, their opinion is sometimes wrong, you know, very wrong. So it's just being able to define and know your own true self and value. But it's just hard. And when you say you cut people away or whatever, like, I find my hardest people to cut away are the ones that I love the most, even though they're the most, they can be the most draining on you or whatever. So, but people that yeah, I tend to, I'm a nurturer anyway by nature. I'm a nurturer, and I'm like a fixer, and all the things
Pleaser.
that
You're a
that
pleaser.
yeah. So it's hard for me to be a winch, or to be a bee sometimes. I mean, I can do it, but I have to get to a level of annoyance and anger that I
That's
really, that I would fight you. I probably would fight you, but I'm like just inhaling and trying to like chill out for a minute, but I'm real hot.
And for the audience, Mickey will beat the shit out of every single one of you, including me and Dave at the same time.
Look, I'm going on pay-per-view with Mike Tyson. I'm not touching Mickey, that's for sure. I won't take a punch.
And you're doing it right now. You are breaking the stigma for that. Dave, do you have a minute for one last question for Mickey?
One last question. You can send me my check later.
Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry. No, and I apologize for being a little tardy.
No.
I woke up and I said,
I would stay here all day with you.
Mickey, I wanted to ask you, because I think this will be so valuable for the audience. I know your story because we formed a great relationship, and also I was a huge fan before that. I know the journey to be at the very top of the wrestling business consisted of sleeping in your cars, not making a lot of money, a lot of travel, until you finally made it. For anyone else out there looking to pursue a big moonshot, a huge dream, and understanding all the sacrifices that will come along with it, because if you are taking a big shot at life, you are going to have to make sacrifices. What can you suggest to them going through it, understanding that there will be a lot of ups, but also a lot of downs before they even start?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because for everyone it's different, and I feel like it's what everyone can handle, because sometimes not, and that is the reality as far as when stardom and stuff like that comes. It really is what you're willing to put into it, because I'm sure I could have quit along the way 10 times, you know, and I would have never made it to where I was. I could have quit when I was sleeping in my car, or when I had to steal gas that one time, or when I didn't have anything, like I could barely afford a meal to eat to even go to the show, because I spent all my money on my gas money just to get there. Like and that was just the beginning of before I even got the contract, not to count all the tests and tribulations once I got my deal. I think that it really, you have to see it and you have to believe it. Like I would tell myself, I am going to be the women's champion. And I would see myself as the women's champion. And I would go like, okay, what? And I would think about it, and I would,
Give me the chills right now.
yeah, and I would think about it, and I go like, okay, what do I got to do to get there? And I was hungry. I would do everything. I would do every camp. Would do a Dr. Tom camp. I would do Ricky Steamboat camp. I would do the ECW dojo camp. I would do whatever I thought that was going to not only put me in front of the right people, but get me better. And I was trying to learn from people who had been there, who had made money on television, who could give me the shortcut. But the thing is, there is no shortcut. Everybody's journey is different. It's very, very different. And I was the best, like one of the best by the time I got hired, but I still, even at one of the best, sat in developmental, which is like a minor league, for 2 years, almost 3 years before I was finally came up to TV. But in that moment when I finally came to TV, I was over prepared. I was legit one of the best up there, and I was able to, with that angle and that with Trish and like the whole thing. But I think that, and this is whether you're a religious person or not, like I've found like before my greatest successes, before every single, like any of them, I've always had my biggest like moments of, and I don't know, and I say that's all what I always, because I think in these lines, because I'm a religious person or spiritual, more spiritual than anything, but I always say the devil's coming in to test me, to make me quit, because he knows I'm about to rise, right? And they want to cut you out, and he wants to cut you down before you cut and you go up, right? So like I felt like every time before I would have this moment, this, where my breakthrough, where God's like, it's the light is there, just keep going. Like there would be like this thing that comes in front and just kind of like screws me all up for a minute. And I'm like, where I almost quit wrestling, where I would just have moments where I'm going like, what am I doing this for? Or, why am I putting myself through this? And then out right behind that, and I would let it set on, push through and persevere. And there would come the gift. There would come the contract. There would come the debut on television. There would come the championship. It's just like these things where, holy shit, you just have to keep pushing through, and you're going to get tested, and there are going to be, when you say there are going to be obstacles, I think a lot of people can't handle the obstacles. And that is why, a lot of us settle into or make excuses or whatever, into our, what we deem normal, whether that's what we were told, that's what we were worthy of, whether that we were told that's all we were going to be, and we believed it. What you believe is what you will become. And if you believe that for yourself, then it will be true, whether you believe that you're going to be, a delivery guy, or you're going to be a superstar. What you believe will be your reality, and I honestly believe that. And I believe that because it's been my truth. So I can only speak on what's worked for me, and I try to make everybody kind of think like that I'm around, but it just doesn't happen. Like my sister doesn't think like that necessarily. My mom doesn't think like that, but for whatever reason, I'm like,
this is gold. I have a new nickname for you, Moonshot Mickey.
Moonshot Mickey. Usually it's Moonshine Mickey, so that's a step up for me.
Yeah, I'm more Jaeger Dave shot. Anyway, it's interesting because I think shifting the paradigm from sacrifice to investment makes a huge difference. When people have a perspective or a paradigm shift that I'm investing in myself, and I tell people all the time, the best thing you can do is to invest in yourself. What if you're not going to invest in yourself, what will you ever invest in? And people, once you look at your life as an investment in yourself, then you can start with, what is my timing and risk tolerance, right? And take it as an investment. So are you willing to wait with persistence for what you want to happen? What is that timing and risk tolerance? And, as much as you're 5'3" and sleeping in a car still is comfortable, it still sucks, and it's a great investment in yourself. But without that type of investment, you don't have the fortitude, the foundation to take on what the setbacks, mistakes, failures, and pain that exists. If you don't make an investment in yourself, pain becomes a punishment, not a propellant, right? When you are making the investment in yourself, it's propelling you to something better. That pain, that setback, that mistake, that failure, it's not punishing you and putting you back or making you stop. It's that turn signal. So I just congratulate you. It's why I adore you. It's why I started out where I'm going to finish. This is one of the kindest people who has invested in herself so that she can elevate others to elevate herself by being an icon, a milestone to young women especially. And anything I can do to assist you in building. We've done it in esports. We have the Queens Collective. We could have the Queens Collective in wrestling as well.
Yes.
Elevate that brand. So we'd love to help you. Just reach
that.
out. I am a huge fan of your kindness and your achievements. Thank you so much, Mickey.
Thank you,
Mickey,
David.
we
That's
love
so sweet.
you much.
Honored.
Just to touch upon what you said before, you're doing the damn thing. You are breaking the stigma for the wrestling business in regards to women, and we're so proud of you. And with all the country stuff that you have going on, I think these are your two biggest fans right here. When Dave talks about kindness, it's a massive understatement. We love you. We appreciate you so much.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you both for having me on. This was amazing. I was
Here,
so looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. Yes. We are cool together.
We
We're
love you guys.
Superpowers.
Good weekend. You guys deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, guys. So much fun.
Oh, it was the best. Thank you.
Have the best weekend, Mickey. Love you.
You too. Thanks, Greg. Love you.
Shot, Mickey.
Got it.
See you later. Too much fun, guys. The Paradigm Shift, episode 19. Do I dare say the biggest and best guest yet? We love Mickey so much. She's doing her thing. We love you all so much. If you guys love the Paradigm Shift, keep sharing it. It's growing rapidly. Do I dare say the fastest growing show on the planet? There's already interest from major networks for it. Obviously, you can see why. We love you guys. The only thing I'm going to leave you with this for the rest of the weekend. Adversity can do one of two things to someone. It can make someone stronger and they can rise up from it and they can get lessons from it, or adversity can crush someone. The adversity that I have coming up has to do with my health. Monday morning, I'm getting surgery, getting this tumor thing taken out of my foot, and I embrace it and I love it and I lean into it. And like my good friend Dave said, it's a blessing in disguise that I was at that speaking engagement, that I got injured on that beach playing football so that I could facilitate an MRI so I could see what's going on in my foot. I don't believe in a coincidence, so it is what it is. Mom, if you're still on here, I love you so much. Big bro, love you. My two empire building badass ladies, Jesse and Alex, love you. Rachie, I see you. I love you all so much. Have an unbelievable weekend. What's up, Cal? Love you guys. Don't feel bad for me. I'm not a victim. We got this. Love you guys.